Good morning, friends. It's Friday Eve. Are we ready? Are we ready for a wonderful Thursday? I love Friday Eve. One step closer to the weekend. I just am always looking forward to the weekend. And this weekend is a long weekend, Memorial Day here in the US. Very, very exciting. So that means I get a 3-day weekend, 3 days of crocheting without work bugging me. How about that? How about that? So, this morning, friends, I am working on a new cardigan that I've got in the works. I have made half of it. So, it's a little hard to see here because it is rather big. But you can see here, I started in the. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to get my pattern out. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to get my pattern. Now, y'all know I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Let's start over. I was so excited to get started, but I can't do this without my paper. Okay, so Valdlocks, good morning. Vicky is here. Pam says no worries. Thank you, Pam. Thanks for understanding. I don't want to pause it. It does something to the algorithm. I'm convinced it does. That's just my own theory. So let me get these mics set back up so y'all can hear me. And let's get our pattern. So what we're doing this morning, Tiffany says it's all good. It means you're human. I know. I don't like making mistakes and looking like a fool, but it is what it is. Okay. So you guys have seen me work on this pattern a lot because I love, love, love this pattern. This is the Study of Snow, and it is by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. I got to move this light. I can't see my screen. Okay. Um, this is the Study of Snow. Now, when Mikey made this blanket, he made it with a Bernat blanket, and it is a 6 super bulky. There's a link to this pattern on my website, and I've made this a number of times. You guys have seen me make it for baby blankets, for regular blankets, just in general, all sorts of stuff. And what has been rolling around in my brain is I think this pattern would look really, really cool as a cardigan because of all of the fun textures. Okay. So this pattern is worked as a square, and we're going to go over this diagram. Now, when I made my first cardigan, I did the hexacardi and I did it in the granny stitch. So today, my plan is I'm going to show you how to make the second half of this cardigan. Now, I won't get through it all, but basically, I had this thought, well, if it's a square, there's no reason I can't turn it into a hexagon, right? I just add 2 more sides of the exact same thing. So instead of doing 4 of these, I do 6 of them, right? Easy peasy. So that is what prompted this little project. Today I am using Caron Skinny Cakes, and it's a really, really pretty yarn. I got this from Michael's, and it is in the colorway Grape. Now, this yarn calls for a 4mm size G6 hook. And I wanted this to be nice and flowy and kind of more loose on the stitches. I didn't want them really tight. And so I actually upgraded, and I'm using a size I9 hook. I went up a larger hook size to hopefully make it more flowy. But this yarn is machine washable and dryable. It is a 3-weight, so it's kind of nice for like a spring cardigan where you're kind of through the really cold of winter, but you're not quite to summer. And sometimes you get a little chill in the air. And so that's why I really like this yarn for this. So I started right here in the armpit. All right. And let me spread this out so we can kind of see what our goal is here. Now, this is sewn on the top of the sleeve, but you can see here, this is the very starting point of this pattern. So again, instead of doing a square, I added 2 more sides and I made it a hexagon. Now, the one thing that I did modify about this pattern, well, I modified a couple things. When Mikey has this pattern, you'll remember when I do the square, it actually calls for some back post work right here. And I thought that would look too bulky in the pit. Okay. So I wanted to kind of smooth this out. So instead of doing the back post that he calls for, I actually switched to single. We'll kind of show that as we go along. But then I continued working out. So you can see here, this is just like the square, except it has the 6 sides. So let's get our yarn here. And I want this to kind of match. So I went to my skein and I found the matching color in this to be able to start my project. Okay. So if we go back to our diagram here, where's my scissors? We're going to start here in the very, very middle. Now, you guys know I love to read diagrams. I don't read patterns, but I really like diagrams. So what this diagram is telling us is we're going to do a chain of 4, and then this little dot right here is actually a slip stitch. How I know that is I come over here to the legend, and you can see the oval here equals a chain. The little dot is a slip stitch. So that's how we're going to start. Then into that, we're going to do these little T-looking stitches that have the little hatch marks on them. So again, I come over here to my legend and I can see that is double crochet. So normally into this center, when I'm making a square, I would do 3. Here's some chains, chain 2, then I would do another 3, chain 2, another 3, chain 2. Instead, I'm going to, if doing this 4 times, I'm actually going to do it 6 times because we're going to make this into a hexagon. Friends, today I'm going to be doing a lot of stitch talk, so I will fair warn you, I'm probably going to miss some of your comments. I'm not trying to overlook you, but please feel free to ask again. The mods will try to pin the comments for me, or they will try to answer the question. This pattern you can find on my link tree. This is a pattern by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd, and it is the study of snow. But there's a link to the link tree and also the yarn that I'm using. So instead of a chain 4, I want this center to be kind of small. So I'm actually going to do a chain of 3. Then I'm going to go into the back loop here, and I'm going to slip stitch. Okay, so this is my little starting point now. This is like the very center of the ring. So now what I need to do is I need to work 3 double crochets into this um, chain ring. Okay, one and very important thing is as I'm working along, I'm going to work around this tail and cover it up. That way it becomes a place where I can tighten that loop. I'm going to start with a chain of 3. That counts as a double crochet. Now I'm going to work a double crochet into the very center of this ring. And friends, today I'm using US crochet terms. Okay, another double crochet. So now we have 3. Okay, so this, I don't like how that overlapped. So now you can see this right here. Here's our chain. Here's our little grouping of 3. So go back to the diagram. That is what I just made right there. Okay, this little part right here is this. Now we're going to chain 2 and back down into the ring. I'm going to do 3 more double crochets. So we're going to repeat this a total of 6 times instead of 4 because I'm turning this into a hexagon. Here is number 3, chain 2. Can you guys see all right? I got everything all messed up when I forgot my pattern, so hopefully y'all can see the stitches here pretty good today. So here we go, number 2 and number 3, chain 2. Now we have 3. Kind of scoot this over if you need to. Remember, I'm working over this tail as we go along, okay? 3 more double crochets. Gen X, thank you so much for the gifts this morning. Karina is in the house. How are you? Miss Sherry Mary Muffin is here. Good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. It's Friday Eve. One step closer to the weekend. I know y'all are excited. Kelly is here. How are you, Kelly? Chain 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got to squish one more in here. Again, 3 more double crochets. chain 2. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch right here to the very first stitch. If I can get my hook in there, that is. I always have a hard time going in the top of chains. Are you guys like that? I always got to use my little thumb to give it a little hand. Hey, Randa and Zoe, good morning. Joni, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Debbie is here. How are you, Debbie? Today we're making a cardigan, friends. I know some of you have been waiting to see this. Okay, so then I join with a slip stitch here, and I slip stitch over into the corner. Okay, so you can kind of give this a little pull if you want to kind of tighten this up. But there is our very center of our hexagon. Okay, so back to our diagram. Thank you guys so much for the heart me's this morning and all the screen taps. Deanna is here. Good morning, Deanna. How are you? Um, okay, so we just finished round number 1. Round number 2, you can see it has a little plus sign. If we come over to our legend, the plus sign is a single crochet. So what this tells us, if you follow the little double crochet up, you can see there's a plus sign sitting on top of it. So that means into this double crochet, we're going to do a single crochet. We're going to put 1 in each one. Now see here where the chain space is from the row below? See how there's a plus sitting over top of the chain space? That tells us our corner is going to be single crochet, chain 2, and then you have to remember this is just a slice of the pie, okay? So you have to picture there's another corner here, another triangle here, and another here. So we're going to continue that around. So basically, we're going to do a single crochet in every stitch. In the corner, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Now, if we look ahead to row number 3, you can see row number 3 is the same. See how it's got more plus signs? So what that is telling me is we're going to do 2 rows of single crochet. So if we look at our example here, here is the very center that I just made. Okay, see it there? Here is a row of single crochet and single crochet. So let's go ahead and do that on this part of the cardigan. So now again, into the corner, we need a single crochet. Vicky, thank you so much for the beautiful cake this morning. Level 14 in the fan club. Leah is here. Good morning, Leah. Single crochet. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Now we need a single crochet into each one of these stitches. So 1 in the top of each one, single crochet. Here's 2, 3. Now back to the corner. Again, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Working along the top again. Anvil, how are you, friend? Our fabulous moderators are here today, guys. They'll help to answer questions. We're going to be doing a lot of stitch talking today. I heard you guys hit that goal already. Thank you so much for all the heart me's, friends. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the fan club. Let me set up something. I wish they had a Friday Eve. That would be lots of fun. Let's do a lightning bolt. Um, so again, carrying on, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Now, again, I did go up a hook size with this project. Actually, it called for a G, so I actually went up 2 hook sizes. So it called for a 4 millimeter. I'm using an I9, which is, I believe, a 5.5 millimeter. This pattern is the Study of Snow that I'm making. This is a free pattern by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. And there are links on the link tree. Now, you guys have seen me make this into blankets a number of times, but what was rolling around in my brain is this pattern, to me, it needed to be made into a cardigan. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a 4-sided square pattern and I am turning it into a hexagon so that we can make a hexi-cardi. And I made half of the cardigan already. I've done the left, or maybe it's the right sleeve. I've done the right sleeve, and now we're going to work on the left side. So I'm just working around. Here we go into another corner space, chain or single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet. Not very much to hold on to with this little tiny center, but this is what's going to make it look really nice. This is a 3-weight yarn that I'm using today. This is a Caron Skinny Cake in the colorway Grape. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch here to the corner. Okay, so we finished row 2. Now we're going to move on to row number 3. Row number 3, you remember, is another round of single crochet. So we're going to repeat what we just did. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Now working a single crochet along the top in every stitch. Jennifer says, I love the colors. I know, they call this colorway Grape. I'm going to reset the gift goal here. Thank you guys so much for all the lightning bolts this morning. Fast tapping and sending the gifts. Woohoo! We're off to a good start here this morning. Cupcake, how are you? Sherry Mary Muffin said, I have a pattern question. On the pattern, is there a ST? ST. What's an ST? I don't even know what an ST is. Are you getting technical on me? I kind of there's a full written for this pattern. Okay, so you can see the full written pattern. Stitch. Is there a double crochet at the beginning of the stitch? I'm not sure I follow. We did double crochets into the center ring here. Now we're doing single crochets. ST stands for stitch. All right, see, I learned something today, guys. Y'all are teaching me now. One of these days, I'll just pick up a pattern and be able to read it. So all I'm doing right now is single crochets. I'm not doing any double crochets yet. We did double crochets here for the first round. Does that help answer your question? I'm not sure I follow. I'm sorry. I'm slacking over here. Okay, so another single crochet. Now here we are back to a corner. Now, one thing you're going to see this start doing is you're going to see how it starts to ripple up. See how this is rippling up? And don't be alarmed when you're working on this as a hexagon because it is intended to do that, okay? So once we get past these single crochets, it will start to get a little larger. Uh, oh Lord, we're going to get her writing patterns. Oh, I wouldn't hold your breath, Leah. Karina said you guys are going to teach me. I can write a diagram. I can draw a diagram. I learned how to do that last year. I was very proud of myself. I've made a few diagrams. So that was a big accomplishment for me. Very, very big accomplishment. Are we almost there? Oh, a couple more sides. These single crochets take forever. Let's try again. At the beginning of each round on the diagram, it looks like there is a double crochet to start. Oh, I understand your question now. The way that Mikey works his patterns, and you're going to see this as we move on to the next round. Um, I like to start in the corner, and I start with the full grouping. But what she's asking is, do you see this right here? What he is saying is he chains one here to get the height of the stitch. That chain, that little chain there, does not count as a stitch. Okay, so honestly, I don't even do those. But as we move farther up, which you're going to start to see that next, so he's got like a chain of 3 here. That is the first starting stitch. That chain of 3 counts as the first double crochet and so on. Okay, so when you're up here, this little T is a half double. He's saying chain 1 for the half double to get this taller. Does that help answer your question? I do mine a little different. Now, Mikey has a YouTube tutorial of this pattern as well. So that is also linked on the link tree, and I definitely encourage you guys to check that out as well. Okay. But I'm on the last side here of our single crochets. Now, you guys know when you work on the hexagon, that is the granny stitch, right? What we do is we work from the very center here Is this a stitch? Hang on, I always get messed up here. I got to count. Bear with me while I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my corner. There's my corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do need one more here. This kind of confuses me when I get here. Okay, so now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the corner. So the way that I'm going to work this is I'm going to do half the corner and work around this way, and I'm going to finish the corner when we come along. So if you are doing a hexicardy, you do 3 double crochets and then you move along your side. Then when you come back around, you do your 3 double crochets with your chain 2, and it keeps you in the center of your little hexagon. We're going to apply that same thing here. Okay, so here is another spot where I have kind of modified this pattern. So you can see here, he's got these little T's, but they've got this loop-de-loop on the bottom. See that little curl? If we come over to the legend, this tells us we're going to do a half double crochet back post. When you do a back post stitch, what it does is it pushes your texture, the front of your stitch forward. So do you see how this is pushing forward and adding this line of texture? When I was in, basically right now, I'm working in the armpit, right? So what he's saying is right here, I should have a line of texture popping forward. And as I was thinking about this pattern, I I didn't want that line of texture. Okay, so that's why I don't want to do a back post here. So instead, what I did is a half double because I want this to be flat. So he calls for a back post. That's what that curly Q is. That's what that means. So essentially, what he is saying here, we're in the corner, we're going to chain 1. Then the chain 1 helps us get this stitch taller. Again, I don't do that. I just do a half double. Okay. So in the corner, we're going to essentially chain 1, then do our half double. Instead of the back post half double, I'm just going to work double or half doubles across. And same thing here. This little T, that is a half double. It lines up with the chain that is here from the row below. So that tells you our corners are going to be half double, chain 2, half doubles. The whole way up, we're always going to do a chain of 2. So right here in the very first stitch, he is saying chain 1, then do your half double. Okay, this chain right here does not count as a stitch. For me, I just feel like that makes it extra bulky. I don't like the look of that. So I love you, Mikey, but I'm not doing that. Sorry. Rebelling it up already. So all I do is I just do a half double into that. I don't feel that there's any need for a chain there. Now, instead of doing working in the corner, I just did one half the corner. Now I'm going to continue working along and I'm going to do a half double into each of these stitches. So instead of doing a back post half double like he calls for, this will make it so that I don't have that line of texture that I really don't want for just because it's so tight in there, right? With how your hexagon is. So now here we are to the corner. Again, half double, chain 2, and half double. And we'll look at this on the cardigan. As soon as I get done with this round, we'll flatten this out so we can kind of visualize it, what I'm talking about, so you can see why I modified it. Does everybody understand why I don't want the back post stitch there? Does it make sense, my logic? Is it ringing? Is it making sense and ringing true there? Okay, here we are back to the corner. Half double, chain 2, half double. Hey, Grammy Juju, good morning. How are you? Does everybody get Memorial Day off from work? Do you guys all get a break? I know some Mama Wheeler's going to get Monday off because Mama Wheeler is retired, so she gets every day off. Marcia said I redid the Victorian lattice square border, which was working, but I used your border, which looks and feels better. Oh, nice. Or falls better. Nice, Marcia. Thanks for sharing that. Mimi's off. Sherry said, I can't work. Kelly said, yes, thank goodness. Danny Lee says, I do. I'm excited for the long weekend. I am too. I am too. It's Memorial Day for those of us in the United States here. We have Memorial Day. And I'll tell you, Memorial Day sometimes feels like an excuse for retailers to spam my email with a bunch of sales and fill up my inbox with a bunch of nonsense because all of a sudden Memorial Day is about sales and getting me to buy stuff, which is not what Memorial Day is about at all. Memorial Day is about honoring the men and women who served, and it's uh, it's nice to have that day of remembrance. My husband, he had two uncles that served, and my dad was in the army. My sister-in-law was Air Force. And so, anyhow, remember what it's about, folks. Have a nice barbecue, but keep that in mind too. I don't want to get all dreary here, but it is nice. Karina says it's an excuse for sales and for people to recreate. Yeah, right, right. Okay, here we are back into the corner, half double, chain two, unless it's a yarn sale. Well, mom, come on now. Come on now. Are you calling me out, mom? Let's see. It's almost answered, but above each row number is what looks like a bent half double. Oh, the little arrow? Are you talking about this little symbol right here? This tells you to carry on. It's like, oh, this is a join with a half double crochet. So he joins with a half double crochet into the corner. I don't do that. I do a chain two join. But what Mikey does, I'll show you how he does it. Okay. I don't do that though. Mikey gets all fancy, and I'm kind of old school in some ways. I like to learn new things, but sometimes I get a little stuck in my ways. So basically, Sherry, what we're talking about here, what he means by join with a half double. Here we are back to our corner. Let me count this, make sure I got the right number on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do need one more here. Sometimes this stitch right here trips me up and I have to count. Okay, so what Mikey is saying, when we started with a half double here and then worked around. Now we're coming back around. And so what he is saying is join with a half double here into the corner. So I don't even know how he does that, but the way that I do it is I do a half double, then I chain two and join like this. Okay. I think the way that Mikey does it, if I'm not mistaken, you all correct me if I'm wrong. I know Gen X knows this a lot. I think what he does is he does a half double instead of into the space here, he joins the half double into the top of his stitch. And that just doesn't make sense to me. I know he says it puts you right in the corner, but I don't know. I can't do that. I can't do that. So watch his video. He explains it in great detail on his video. When I watch his video, I ignore that part. I'm bad. What can I say? So for me, I do a half double, chain two, and then I join with a slip stitch into the corner. That is just the way that I grew up doing it. So, yeah, Gen X says you can't teach April new tricks. Right. I'll learn some. It's like the foundation chain. I'm not interested in that, or the foundation crochet. You guys see me, I chain and then I work back into the chain. Again, could I learn that other way? Sure, probably. But I'm just not interested. Okay, same thing here. I like my traditional way. So I'm going to pull out my hook here and let's just go over the shape of this. See how we're getting lots of curl on this? Bear in mind, when you put this together, okay, this is very small, but it gets folded like this, okay, and then it becomes flat. So This right here, if you can envision, is my armpit. Okay. This part right here is my shoulder. And then I have my arm sticking out the side. Okay. So that is how this is going to get assembled. In the meantime, I'm going to keep stacking up rows and making this taller and taller. Okay. But that is how this is going to get kind of finished. So as you're working on this, again, don't be alarmed if it starts curling up, because once you get it all folded, you'll see that it becomes very flat. Okay. So as we're looking at our example here, I just finished this half double row. Now we're going to be working on some puff stitches. Okay. And so I'll show you that on the diagram next. But if let's fold this back out. For those that are just joining on and you haven't seen the full scope of what we're doing today, I am working on a hexagon cardigan. Okay. So let's get this folded back out so we can see what we're working with here, and we'll kind of do a rundown from the beginning. So today I'm working with Caron Skinny Cakes. This is the colorway Grape. I will tell you, I named this the Sweet Serenity Hexagon Cardigan, because to me, when I look at this yarn, I'm sorry, I just don't see grape. I see thistles in the pasture and beautiful lavender flowers, and I see it kind of dusk with a little hint of blue sky and maybe some puffy white clouds. To me, it just feels very like serene. I don't see grape at all, but the colorway is grape. So that's where my brain goes when I work on this. But you can see we're working out. So this right here is essentially where we're working right now. And we're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as we work our way out. And as we start doing some of these larger stitches, this will start to come together and you'll get more of an idea. Now, here is the arm. Okay. So after I finished the square, which ended right here, I continued on with the pattern to make the sleeve, and I just kept measuring on my arm until I got it the length that I wanted. And then I did a decrease here, and I just did like, how Passionate Kelsey does her hexagon cardigan. Same thing. Okay. I just applied everything that I learned from doing the hexagon cardigan to this. Okay. So we're ready for round number 5. So as we look at round number 5, it tells us we're going to start with a chain of 3 in the corner. That counts as a double crochet. Then we're going to do this little T-stitch here with the hatch mark. Again, that is a double crochet. Then we have a little oval. The oval means we're going to do a chain. And then you have these little football shapes. You come down here, that tells you it is a puff stitch. And it has 3 strands, so that tells me I'm going to yarn over 3 times. How many of these cakes do you think it'll take? Hillary, I originally bought 2. I've already used 1 full, and so I went and bought another third cake because 1 full cake did the square and the sleeve. However, I still have to add more to the bottom, and I have to add more to the back. So unrelated, Sherry asks, "Do you know how to do a chainless foundation?" No, I'm holding out, Sherry. I'm being grumpy and old. I probably am never going to learn the chainless foundation. I just am not feeling it. Dee said, "Hi, new here. Thank you for clarifying. Are you doing the hexie with Mikey's blanket pattern?" I absolutely am, Dee. So if you're just hopping on, friends, this is the Study of Snow, and this is a square blanket. And I am turning this into a hexagon. So instead of 4 sides, I am doing 6 sides and turning it into a cardigan. That's my mission. All right. Guys, thank you all so much for the screen taps, almost 15,000. Thank you so, so much for hanging out this morning as we work on this pattern. And welcome to the new followers this morning. Guys, I'm doing a lot of stitch talk today. If you are new to my channel, my name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings, and I make a variety of projects. Yesterday, we worked on putting a border on a wheelchair sized blanket. Monday, we worked, or Tuesday, we worked on granny squares. So I do a variety of different things. And I almost called it hyacinth, Sherry, because I felt like it was definitely a hyacinth color. I feel you there. So anyhow, welcome, welcome. When I do a lot of stitch talk, I try to keep up with the comments, but I'm looking a lot at my work and talking through these stitches. So I may miss your comment. Please do not be offended like I'm trying to overlook you. I most certainly am not. The mods, we have wonderful mods here and a fabulous group of friends. They will try to answer your question and they will pin the comment for me if I miss it. Okay. So here we go. In the corner, I did a chain of three. Now, this chain of three counts as my first double crochet. Then I do my second double crochet. So that is our corner. Okay. So now let me put this down. Let me revisit our diagram here. There's one more thing I want to explain about this. You can see here we have the oval, which is the chain. This chain sits directly on top of this half double that we did in the corner of the round below. So what this means is I'm going to chain one, skip this stitch, and then into the next stitch is where we're going to put our puff stitch. Then I'm going to chain one. Again, this chain, see how it's sitting on top of this stitch that doesn't have anything in it? So that means I'm going to chain one, skip one, and then move. And now we're supposed to have a total of 4 puff stitches on every side, okay? So here we go. Chain one. Now I'm going to skip one. Now remember that the first stitch sits here. Into the second now, I'm going to do the puff stitch. I wrap my yarn around. I have my original loop here on the hook. I go down under both loops, grab up a loop, and I pull this up nice and tall. And I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to repeat this a total of 3 times. Wheeler spirations, wheel spirations. That's cute. Thank you, Kim. That's cute. Uh, Yarn over, right back down in, grab up another loop. This is number 2. And then yarn over again, right back down in, grab up another loop. There is number 3. So we have our starting loop here on the right, 2, 4, 6 loops, total of 7. Now I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull this underneath all of these. And then I'm going to chain one to lock it in. That chain one is where we're going to skip this stitch. Okay, so that's our chain. I'm going to move to the next stitch and I'm going to repeat the puff stitch. So again, drop a loop nice and tall. Here's number 2, right back down in, and number 3. Now again, we have 7 loops here on top. Yarn over, pull this dude under all of these, chain one to lock it in, chain one to lock it in, skip one into the next, again, repeating our puff stitch. Here's number 2 and number 3. So now we have 7, yarn over, pull through all, chain one to lock it in, skip one into the next, again, puff stitch. The reason why we like to do space in between our puff stitches is this helps kind of set it apart and give these a little space to let them really shine out and be the star of the show. I chain one to lock it in, skip one. Now here we are back to our corner. And in the corner, we have 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And now we're going to repeat that. So again, very first stitch, we need to chain one, skip one into the next stitch, puff stitch. And we're going to do this. You should have 4 puff stitches on every side. Yes, if you're just joining, I am working on a cardigan. Instead of doing a traditional granny stitch, which is so popular for cardigans, show of hands, how many people have made a hexagon cardigan? And did you make it with the granny stitch all the way? I have made one. Okay, I made one a few weeks ago. It was my first time, and everybody had been making the cardigans, and I was like, okay, April, You need to get out of your comfort zone and give this a try. And so that's what I did. I made one. It turned out really nice. I really liked it. I made it with a cinnamon swirl cake, and it was also in kind of lavender purple colors, but it turned out really, really nice. Sparkly said I made half of one. Let's see. Mary said I'm struggling with the wavy blanket. You mean the chevron, Sherry? Is that the one you're struggling with? So, friends, if you have made the granny stitch and you want to kind of push yourself and try, you can certainly give this a shot of what I'm doing today. Lots of fun textures. I just, after I made the granny cardigan, the granny hexie cardi, I thought to myself, there is no reason, if it is a square pattern, that you couldn't take that square and turn it into a hexagon. And that's what kept rattling around in my brain. And that's why we're here today making this, because April's had this, like, yes, a squirrel cake. Thank you, Karina. Somebody was watching my video over on YouTube one day when we were working with the Caron. It's called a cinnamon swirl cake. Well, you guys know me. I say squirrel all the time, right? And so I mistakenly called it a cinnamon squirrel cake. It will forever live. Oh, Jen made us a poll. Awesome. Right up here in the left-hand corner, if you want to vote, tell us if you have made the hexagon cardigan before. Show of hands. I think more people have probably made it than we even realize. Friends, thank you all so much for the heart puffs this morning and knocking out that goal. Really, really appreciate it. Let me give us some little roses here as y'all are voting. And I'm working on my puff stitches. So anyhow, I just wanted to kind of push myself and see if I could apply the same concepts that I learned in making the hexagon cardigan with the granny stitch and take a fun square pattern that I absolutely love and challenge myself to turn that into a cardigan as well. And I've made half of it, so I'm going to say, yeah, I can do it. So here we are back to the corner. In the corner, we are going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Now I realize the study a snow pattern might be outside of the skill level of some of our friends, and that's totally fine. Hey Esther, thank you for being over there on YouTube. I appreciate that. We have I can't see. I think a few people watching on YouTube. I can't read the counter, the light shining on it. We have what, almost 120 here over on TikTok watching. Thank you guys all for hanging out this morning. Anyhow, this pattern is rated as a intermediate. Oh, I messed that up. As an intermediate pattern, the study of snow. This is one of the first patterns of Mikey's when I was transitioning from beginner to intermediate. I really thought, I don't know if I can do this. I kind of had a lot of self doubt, but I watched Mikey's video. There is a great tutorial of this. I loved the fact that there was not only a written pattern, but a diagram. I read diagrams, you know? And so I thought, well, if anything, this is the pattern for me to try to get out of my comfort zone and push myself to maybe learn and practice some of these stitches that I've been wanting to do and really try to challenge myself. So this was one of the first patterns of his that I did that with. 47% said no, they have not. 19% said they have. 11% said yes, only one. So I would add those together and say 30% have made one or more. 9.52, let's call that 10%, have made multiple. So 40% have made it. Tried but failed, almost 12%. So the majority is no, followed by a close second of yes, they've made a hexagon cardigan. Um, Again, for me personally, I don't know how often I would wear a cardigan. Okay. And so that was one of the reasons why I never actually made one as well. Because I like to be able to gift my stuff or use it myself, and I just don't know how often I would actually wear it. It feels like here in Alabama, we go from hot to I need my really heavy jacket, back to it's hot and humid and I don't want to have anything on again. So I don't feel like there's kind of a season for the cardigan, if that makes sense. But I did, did make one just because I wanted to challenge myself and be able to say, "Hey, I'm one of the cool kids. I made one, and it worked, and it worked out good." And I had to watch. If you do want to make one, the video that I recommend is Passionate Kelsey over on YouTube. She has a fabulous video. I have to be looking at this. Okay. I'm trying to make my colors match. So what I'm looking at is my armpit here. I couldn't remember all of a sudden if I did the puff stitch the same. I did kind of do some color controlling on this to try to get it to kind of go the way I wanted it to go. After I did this first part, then I just kind of let the colors flow as it came out of the skein. But right here in the center, I was trying to keep it kind of a light color in the middle. And I can't remember how much, if I had to cut off any at all, but I kind of did. I wanted, after I got through like this area, I wanted it to start showing the colors. Karina said, hang on. 246. I've been watching her video to finish up mine. You guys know I love Passionate Kelsey. Her hexagon cardigan tutorial is incredibly popular, and it is very easy to follow and watch and learn how to make it. That is how I made mine. I sat here in my chair like I am today with, Kelsey up on my TV, and I would pause her and I'd do some more. And then I'd kind of catch up to her, and then I'd pause her again and then do some more. And that is how I learned how to make mine, is by watching the video just like that. Believe it or not, guys, I learn just the same way as you guys learn. I don't just know this stuff. I have to invest the time and get the experience with it, and then I can kind of come on here and talk about it. But if it's something brand new, I have to learn it too. So here we go. Let's do the last row. Let's talk this through together. Chain one, skip one. Now remember, if you're brand new to crochet, when you look at a crochet stitch, you saw me kind of pull this back because these double crochets were actually covering the top of the first stitch. So if this is covered, what happens a lot is you'll think that this is the first stitch out, when in fact it is not. What you have to do is you follow the post, the legs of the stitch up, and the top of that crochet stitch actually sits here to the right. So this is my first stitch, and what I am doing is I'm doing a chain one, skip one, so I'm skipping this one. Now into the next, I'm going to do that puff stitch. So yarn over, go down under both loops, grab up a loop, pull it up nice and tall. Now I just hold that. Then I yarn over, get another one, go underneath both loops. Again, grab up a loop, pull it up nice and tall. And here is number 3. We're going to do that a total of 3 times. So now we have our starting loop here on the right, 2, 4, 6, a total of 7 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through all 7 loops. Chain 1 to lock it in. Now I'm going to skip one, into the next, again, puff stitch. Yarn over, right down in under both loops, grab up that loop, pull it up nice and tall, holding, yarn over, here is number 2, again pulling that up, yarn over, right back down in for number 3. Stay on there. Now we've got our starting loop here, 2, 4, 6 loops, total of 7. Yarn over, I'm going to pull this loop under all of these. Chain 1 to lock it in, skip 1, repeat the puff stitch. Yarn over, right down in under both loops, pulling it up nice and tall. Here is number 2, right back down in, grab up a loop, and number 3. Now we have 7, again yarn over, pull under, chain one to lock it in, skip one into the next. This is our last puff stitch of this round. Okay, yarn over and pull through all 7. Again, chain one to lock it in, skip one. Now into the corner, you can see we have half our corner done. I'm going to complete the other half of the corner. So we're going to do 2 double crochets. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to slip stitch to the very first chain stitch that we did here. Leah, thank you so much for the roses this morning. 23,000. Thank you, friends, for all of the screen taps. 22 shares this morning. Thank you guys so much for all of that. I really appreciate it. Don't feel obligated like you have to send gifts, guys, but I do appreciate them. They help me buy more yarn to show you guys more stuff. Also, a shout out to all of the subscribers. We're going to be doing the subscriber giveaway, I believe, next Thursday. And for the month of, what are we in, May? The month of May, we are going to do a $25 gift card to Amazon. Okay. Now, I know some of you guys are not in the US, so if you don't have Amazon and I can't do that, you could pick something else and we'll work it out. We'll DM and get all that. All right. So, again, here is where we're at. Now, again, it's very roughly. Keep in mind, as we start assembling this, it's going to get folded. So, again, this is envision. This is where my armpit is. My arm would be sticking out this side here. This is my shoulder. This is the center of my chest here, okay? This is going to continue to stack on each other and get bigger, bigger, bigger as we go out. But if it starts ruffling, don't be alarmed. That is supposed to happen. Okay, so that concludes that round. So now what we're going to do is move to our next round. So we just finished row number 5 here. Now, Mikey, in his infinite wisdom, said, you guys worked really hard on that puff stitch. Now we're going to give you a very easy row. Sherry, happy birthday. Kristen said, I just finished my other niece's Hexie Cardi. Oh, cool, cool. Okay, so he said, we're gonna reward you. And for round number 6, you worked so hard on 5. We're going to let you do all double crochets the whole way across. You're going to start with a chain of 3 in the corner. Then you're going to do a second double crochet. This chain of 3 counts as a double crochet. We're going to work a double crochet into each of the stitches. Now notice these stitches here are positioned over the chain. Okay, rather than work this stitch into that chain, I'm going to go into the space and work it that way. But every single stitch gets a double crochet. Over here to the corner, again, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. We're going to repeat that all the way around. Easy, easy, beautiful row. So chain 3 counts as my double crochet. Now right into this corner space again, I need a second double crochet. Here is our first stitch here. We're going to do double crochet into the next. Now here we are to the chain space. Rather than try to get your hook through this little stitch here, all I do is I go down into the space and do my double crochet that way. Then I do it on the top of the puff stitch here. And again, into the space, double crochet. And I'm just going to work that all the way around. You can send them from USA, a UK gift card, please. It says buy USA or UK, click to find and buy and send. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I don't know how many people are subscribers to the channel that are not based in the US. I know Hannah is in France, and I believe Hannah is a subscriber, and she's always thinking she's going to win. So I don't know how many others are overseas, but for sure we will work it out, friends. Trust me. All right, but that is the subscriber giveaway for the month of May for those who are interested in. Um, Gift cards have been good to send at Christmas. I know, especially like I have nieces and nephews, and they're older. You know, some of them. My niece, she has a daughter, and it's one of those things, like, as they get older, it's hard to buy for them, you know? And so I do take the easy way out, and I do, give them, like, an Amazon gift card or something like that, just because it makes it easier, and then they can buy something that they want, or something that their family needs, or, whatever. They can, choose a gift for themselves, whatever. I think it just makes it easier. It makes it easier for me, and I think it's good because it actually gives them something that they like. So, anyhow, again, friends, you do not have to be a subscriber here on TikTok. We have, I think, 20 something subscribers. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, I use those funds to, buy more yarn. All of my blankets that I make go to charity. And I like coming on and showing new stitches and everything. So it helps me to, show new yarns and new patterns and whatnot. So you have to buy the Amazon gift card from the country, specifically Amazon website. Oh, I could do that. Yeah. So I've done that before because we had some workers in India for my company, and I actually went on, I believe, and got them something. I bought it in rupees. It was kind of cool. It was kind of fun. So yeah, it's that's cool. So anyhow, normally for the subscriber giveaway, I give away something like a blocking board, a book, yarn. We've done so many different things. But I thought for this month, let's just, do something a little different and do a gift card, apply that same logic that I use at Christmas, and let you guys pick whatever you would like. So I think it'll work well. For those that are asking, let me just first say I've seen a number of new followers pop up this morning. I'm working on a double crochet round, so it kind of gives me an opportunity to chat a little bit. But welcome, new friends. We are so glad to have you. For those that do not know, my name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. I come on live on TikTok and on YouTube every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time, and we have a fabulous group of friends here. So the chat is always kind of popping. Lots of people are talking, but it's a lot of fun. Get your coffee. We have a lot of people that watch overseas as well. So some afternoon friends joining on, and it's night sometimes where people are at. So it's just fun. Nice place to kind of hang out and talk to friends and watch me crochet and kind of get our little community fired up, so it's really enjoyable for me. And I do work full time, so I go for about 2 hours and then I hop off, and I got to go make breakfast. And the dogs have already been fed this morning. Somebody asked how my puppy is. I'll tell you what, Mr. Diesel, he is not really a puppy anymore. He's big. He's a purebred Rottweiler, and a lot of you guys saw Diesel when he was a puppy here on the live, but he's a big boy now. He's as big as his brother, and we got him in December, so he's only what, 5 months old. I don't know. I'm not mathing this morning. I refuse to math today. I will not math. So yeah, he has the like mentality of a puppy, but he is really, he's gotten pretty big. He's a lot of fun. This week he got a skein of my scrap yarn. The yarn that he got, you guys saw the video that I made. A lot of you saw it and commented on it. It was a scrap of this yarn. It was a little leftover piece from this cardigan that I was making. So I finished it here at the sleeve, and it was only like maybe this big of a ball, and it must have fallen on the floor because yeah, he yarn thieved it right up, and he had it out the doggy door, back in the doggy door, back out the doggy door again. uh, you know so I did take it away from him. I don't want him to chew on yarn, and I've heard about people having their pets like eat stuff like that, string, and then they get like that they have to end up at the vet, and so I don't want that to happen. So he definitely got disciplined uh you know after I made the video, but I've talked about him carrying my yarn around the house. If it hits the floor, or if it's on a table where he can reach it, he helps himself. He thinks everything is fair game at this point in his life. So he's a lot of fun. I love him. He keeps, I work from home, and so him and his brother Mo, they keep me. They're my coworkers. So it's really a lot of fun. I enjoy having them. They're great companions for me to keep me. Diesel wants a cardigan for himself. He absolutely does. So yeah, and that's the thing. As Sherry said, hard not to ball the yarn, because when you have the round ball of yarn, it looks like. I mean, tell me this doesn't look like a something that a dog would want. That looks like a dog toy, right? He doesn't know any difference. He's not a bad boy. He has to learn. And so we're learning every day new things. And yeah, it's just it's a lot of fun having them. But it's nice when you work by yourself all day. I talk to the dogs, and it's a whole thing. So I'm sure those of you that work from home can kind of relate. So anyhow, this morning I am live both on TikTok and on YouTube. So a lot of people were asking, can you rewatch this? Friends, if you follow over on YouTube, my handle is Wheeler 8 Acres. All my social media is the same. If you put in Wheeler 8 Acres, you'll find me. I'll pop up, but my name is April. And anyhow, feel free to subscribe over there on YouTube. So today, when we're done with the live, what will happen is this video will still be available on YouTube if you want to go back and rewatch it. Now, because I do work full time, I don't have a lot of like formal stitch tutorials, but I try to update the link tree and give you guys an idea of where to find the things that I'm working on, or where you can watch somebody do a full tutorial. But you can also watch over on my YouTube. When you're on my profile, you will see there's a tab that says videos, one that says shorts, and one that says live. So today's video you will find on the live tab, along with all of the others that we've done in the past. And a lot of people like to, have it on their phone, but there's a lot of people that watch on their TVs in the morning, or, at their computer if they're at work or whatever. So that is definitely there available for you. So I've finished all my double crochets. I put a double crochet into each stitch. We're back here to the corner, and our corner, we did half of it with our 2 double crochets. So into the corner here, I need to do 2 double crochets to finish this corner, chain 2, and now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the corner here. And that completes that round, okay? So again, if we fold this, you can start to see how this cardigan is starting to take shape. Okay, so again, if you're new to this whole concept, this would be my shoulder. This is where my chest is, and then my arm is going to come out here. Same thing here. Now it's, gotten lots bigger, but this is my little cuff. So this little piece that I just made, if we can see this, is this right here. Okay. So that's where we're at. We're working on this and working our way out. Going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. Pull that out a little bit so you guys can see that. So that's where we're at. Now, the next round we're going to be doing this line of texture. And again, this looks kind of complicated, but I'm going to walk you through this, and you'll see it's not as hard. It does take some practice. This is considered an intermediate pattern. The pattern that I'm using for this cardigan today, if you're just joining, is the Study of Snow pattern by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. This is a square blanket that he designed that I am turning into a hexagon. So instead of making 4 sides, I am actually making 6 sides, and that's why it looks roughly like this. But those other 2 sides are done with the exact same stitches. So instead of doing it 4 times into the middle, I did it 6 times. So we started with 3 double crochets, chain 2. Normally you would do that 4 times. Instead of 4, I just did 6, and I'm carrying on. So we just finished round number 6 right here, which was a very easy row of double crochets. Now Mikey says, I'm going to challenge you a bit here, and we're going to throw some more stitches at you. So round number 7 starts with a little oval here. The oval is a chain. So that tells me I'm going to immediately chain 1. Then you see a T stitch here. Again, come to your legend, find a T, half double crochet. Moving to the inside, so that's our corner. Moving to the inside now, you can see how these stitches line up with the ones below. That tells you you're working into a stitch. And you can kind of see here, it has a little loop-de-loo at the bottom. So it's a T with a hatch mark and a loop-de-loo. So I come here to the legend, and again, here is the T. There's our little hatch mark, and there is the loop-de-loo. And this tells me it's a DCBP, double crochet back post. I call this a back post double crochet, but we are going to work that into every stitch along. We're not going to skip any. Every stitch is accounted for. And then when we get to the corner here, see, this is our chain of the round below. That was our corner. And you can see the little T is there. That is a half double. So in the corners, we're going to half double. Joan, thank you so much for the heart hands. Appreciate ya. So again, we're going to half double, chain 2, and then half double. 32,000. You guys hit 30. Thank you so much for all of the taps this morning, guys. Really, really appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out this morning. It's been a really fun week. We started out with a lot of action on Tuesday, working on granny squares. That was a really fun day. Yesterday, we worked on a edging of a blanket. I did finish that blanket last night. And for those that were wondering, I did not go with the light color. I just stuck with what I already had because I was being too lazy. I was just being too lazy. Thank you for the cake. Appreciate that. Level 11 in the fan club. So here we go. Chain 1. That helps us get a little height on this stitch. And then we need a half double. Okay. That is how the pattern is written. I do not like the extra bulk here of that stitch. So the way that I do mine, I skip that chain 1. I don't feel like I need it. Breaking the rules, rebelling it up. All I do is I yarn over, I go down into the corner, and I do a half double. This makes sense to me. That other, I don't feel like I need that. So I just skip that. Queen said, "Oh man, Queen, part of the reason why I didn't go with the lighter color is I didn't have enough. And I didn't want to have to go scrounge around and try to find some yarn. I just went with the safe. I just went with what was safe. And so that blanket is done. Another one finished. It would have been better with the light around it, I feel like, but it's still really pretty. It turned out awesome. I'll eventually get some pictures taken of that, and I'll have those posted on TikTok. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do back post double crochets. The way I do this is I wrap my yarn around. Normally, when you work a double crochet, you work under these 2 loops, right? We're all familiar with that. And you do your double crochet. We're going to do it a little different. What we're going to do is instead of working here in the top of the stitch, we're going to work around the post of this stitch. And because it says back post, we're going to work from the back. Let's see. Have you made Mikey's easy study of texture? Because this is a series. Can that be next? I did the study of texture. The green blanket that I have on my page is the study of texture. Um, I don't know that I will make that pattern again, Kim. And the reason why is because it uses basket weave stitch. Do you know which one I'm talking about? And that really hurt my wrist. And so, wow, gift gold met. I don't want to make it because of that stitch. Now I could substitute with something else, but that basket weave stitch, it basically, you have the stitches like this, and then you cross them like this. So you end up, it kind of looks like this, like kind of like a hatching. And I just really didn't enjoy that stitch at all. It's not something that I plan to revisit anytime soon. Now, of course, like I said, I could modify that. I do like the pattern. It got first place. It got the best of show actually at the county fair 2 years ago. So it's a beautiful pattern. I just don't know that I want to make it again. Kim said, yes, I've made the blanket and I love, love, love it. But yes, we could sub that stitch. Yeah, we totally could. I'll have to noodle on it, Kim, and see. I ended up cutting that section short. I did one section of it and I'm like, I'm done. I didn't do as many as it called for. I just modified it. Okay, back post, guys. Here we go. Yarn over. We're going to work around the post of this stitch. So what I do is I put my work forward and I slide my hook underneath the post so that this post is sitting on top of my hook. I yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So instead of working on the top, you can see the stitch is there on the side of the post, wrapped around the post. So let's do this a few more times. This is a new stitch for some folks. Yarn over, again, put our work forward, slide our hook underneath, grab up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, put your work forward, slide your hook underneath the post, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to keep doing this. So again, slide my hook underneath of that post, grab up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Mom asks, will this cardigan be in the fair this fall? It is so pretty. That is my goal, Mom. I don't know if they have an apparel category, but that is what I'm planning to do. So you can see, friends, after you get a number of these, you can see how it pushes the top of the stitch of your row below forward. And this becomes a row of texture. Okay, so that is why I am doing this, is it's really adding some dimension to this project. So again, yarn over, put my work forward, slide my hook underneath my yarn, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Leah, I can put it in the crochet section, but they have our county fair has it broken down into multiple categories. So they have baby blanket, baby accessory, Afghan, bedspread, accessory. They have all these different categories. They have decoration. They have all sorts of different categories. So I would have to find the category to enter it, but I'm pretty sure I can enter it. They may even have a clothing category. I think they have like uh baby other might be like for a baby dress or something, but definitely there's lots of categories in our county fair. Joan, I'm using a size I9 hook this morning. Now, friends, this yarn is a Caron skinny cake. This is a 3-weight yarn. It calls for a size G6 hook. However, I have gone up 2 hook sizes. And the reason why is because I want this cardigan to be nice and flowy. Okay. I don't want it to be like super rigid and the stitches like too tight. I want it to be like cozy and comfy. So that is why I went up a couple hook sizes for this. So that's what I would recommend. Normally, I do not recommend going up a lot of hook sizes. If I recommend going with what is on the yarn. Okay, so this is a Caron skinny cake. And you can see here it calls for a 4 millimeter size G6. But again, I have gone up. This is a 3 lightweight yarn, machine washable and dryable. This is a great yarn for cardigans, guys, because even if you're going to do like the granny stitch cardigan, it is fabulous worked up. I highly recommend it. You've seen Maggie make this a number of times on hers, where she uses the skinny cakes. It's just great for a cardigan because it is lightweight. So it's like, you're kind of through winter and it's not like super, super cold, but spring is kind of like chilly sometimes. It's great for that time of year, that season. So that is why I do that. So now again, in the corner, half double, chain 2, and then again half double. Now, you may ask, why are we doing half doubles in the corner when we're doing double crochets along the side? That doesn't make a lot of sense, April or Mikey, who wrote the pattern. The reason why is because when you work the back post stitch, what happens is it takes up some of that stitch, and so they end up being not as tall as a double crochet. So if we were to do a double crochet here in the corner, it ends up being a lot taller, and it makes your corners get like too wide. So it's not super noticeable, but it is enough of a height. That is why pattern makers will do a half double here in the corners when you're working your back post double crochets. So that is something definitely to keep in mind. Now, I have seen patterns where they do double crochets like this. One of the baby blankets I follow, she does double crochets. I modify hers every time because it looks better with a half double. Again, not knocking her, the pattern creator, she's fabulous, Craft and Crochet on YouTube. I love her baby blankets, but I feel like when I do double crochets in the corner, this ends up getting like super pointy, almost like this, rather than at a 90-degree angle. So half double helps keep it at a 90-degree angle versus getting more like a 45, if that makes sense. Just because it's just too tall there. So definitely pair a half double, and sometimes I'll make it a little taller, depending on how tall this stitch is looking. So you can kind of make it like size up to the same height as your other stitches so that it really falls in line there. Chain two, and then again, half double into the corner. Now, guys, as I'm showing these back post half doubles, I want you to understand that I'm doing this in slow motion for those that have never seen it before. When I actually make this stitch, I'm not so dramatic with it, okay? But a lot of people, this is a new stitch for them, so I try to explain it and show just exactly how I'm logistically like going through and creating this stitch. So again, I kind of put my thumb here and hold this stitch. When I was first learning, what would happen is my yarn would slide here to the tip of my hook. Then I was trying to get here under this stitch, and this kept interfering and getting tight as I was trying to get under here and make it work. So what I started doing is I hold my thumb here. This gives me control of this yarn that I can slide it back and forth. I put my work forward. See how I'm pulling this? This leaves the tip of my hook free so I can unrestricted slide under that post and grab up my loop. After I get it under that post, I let this go. And I pull up a loop. Okay, so now we have three: yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over and pull through two. So if that helps you to kind of get control over that yarn, I do it still to this day. I still hold this as I'm doing it. Now it's not so obvious as I work faster on these. And I'll show you how I actually do it real speed. If you guys would like to see that rather than, this slow motion. But again, I hold this, put my work forward, slide my hook underneath the post, grab up a loop. Now we have three: yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. Wrap my yarn around, put my work forward, slide that hook underneath, grab up a loop. Again, now we have three: yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over and pull through two. So this is the way I do it today. Okay. Again, you can see I still hold this, but now I don't put my work forward. I just kind of pull this apart and slide it through that way. It took me a whole lot of practice. It took me months and months of practice to be able to do this more efficiently. But that is how I crochet them today. I don't so dramatic put my work forward. But when I was first learning, you better believe I put my work forward. Now I can see the stitch better. I can flow better with it and kind of whip through these stitches a little quicker. Now I'll slow down and do some more as we work along here. I just want to get a little farther on this pattern. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time this morning. So anyhow, that is kind of how we're working this stitch. So again, here's our corner stitch. Again, wrap my yarn around the back and do one of the back posts there as well. Into the very corner here, we need our half double, chain two, 8:46. Okay, I'm doing all right on time. Obviously, guys, I'm not going to get through this entire pattern today. And I don't know that I'll come back on and work on this some more, to be determined. Uh, this pattern that I'm doing, because it is an intermediate pattern, it is outside of some folks' skill level. Okay. And so it does make it a little more difficult. Hey, Crochet with Me, how are you today? It does make it a little more difficult, and not as many people are interested in learning this. So whenever I come live, I try to do a variety of different projects, from some kind of new beginner stuff to kind of medium to intermediate. This is definitely more of an intermediate type pattern, but because we do have people that watch of all different skill levels, we do have a big group that find this very interesting, and I do talk a lot and explain a lot of different stitches. So it does make it a fun live. But my goal for making this cardigan was, number one, I wanted to see if I could do it with this pattern and how it would, kind of come together. And I do want to enter this in our county fair this year as one of my entries. So that is kind of, why I'm making this. And I think it's just going to look really pretty. I had this yarn in my stash, and I really thought it would work nice for this pattern and into a cardigan. It's kind of fun spring colors. Somebody mentioned that it looked like hyacinths. The colorway that I'm using today is grape. But when I see this to me is like, we have purple thistles in our pasture this time of year, and it looks like this, and pretty blue skies, and just lavender flowers. We've got these little lavender like daisies out there, and little puffy white clouds. I don't know. To me, I called it the sweet serenity cardigan, because to me it's just very serene, kind of soft spring flowers and spring skies. When I look at this yarn, I do not see grape at all. I don't know where they, I don't know who came up with that name, but um, I'm not digging the name, if I'm being honest. Yarn inspirations, you got to do better on the names. You got to do better on the names. I think if I can do it, you can do it. So, yeah, maybe the purple, but even the purple to me, like, my grapes that I get are not that color at all. I don't know about you guys, but they're definitely not that color. So I don't know. To me, hyacinth, I always see hyacinths at the store at Easter time and stuff too. So let's see. Oh, I wanted to share, if anyone has the all-in-one granny square yarn sitting around, try it on the Hexie. Kim, have you done it? Because I just bought a whole bunch of that. I got it on sale, and I was going to try to make some other projects with that yarn other than granny squares. You guys know I made the Grapelicious granny, which was a flower granny that I worked with that yarn. But I wanted to see if I could maybe make some blankets with it, or something a little different, and kind of, you know, do change it up a little. Anyhow, I got it for like $5 a skein. So I was like, why not? I might as well scoop some up and give it a try. I got enough for a blanket. So on deck for next week, friends, to give you a little sneak peek, Monday is the holiday here in the United States. Happy Memorial Day, friends. I hope you do not have to work if you are in the workforce. I do not have to work on Monday. So that's a bonus day for me. Nice 3-day weekend. I'm very much looking forward to it. Um, for Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a blanket, wheelchair blanket that I finished. I'm putting a border on it. I'm putting a crab stitch border on it. So if you guys are interested in learning how to do the crab stitch, which is also called the reverse single crochet, I'm going to be doing that on Tuesday. For Wednesday, I am starting a brand new uh, modern granny rectangle blanket. Okay. I know a lot of you guys have been wanting to see one of those. There is one on my YouTube you can watch, but I'm going to be starting it from scratch on the live on Wednesday. Is modern granny blanket in a rectangle shape. For Thursday, if I can get my shiz together, I just got some of Crystal's yarn. You guys know Crystal at Bag a Day. She just got partnered with Mary Maxim and released yarn that is called Tonal Hues. I ordered purple, green, and like a brownish beige color that's kind of more pinkish than brown. Um, what I want to do, I have been wanting to make a star blanket, and I am actually, I know there's a pattern creator out there that you guys all know, and it's very, very popular. I'm not going to be doing any of her patterns because they are copyrighted, and I can't show how to construct a star with her patterns. So, anyhow, the one that I am going to be learning this weekend and coming on the live and sharing with you guys on Thursday, again, if I can get it together, I'm going to be using Crystal's new yarn, and I'm going to be making a 12-point star. The pattern is by Creative Grandma. Okay. Um, am watching her tutorial. I'll be honest, I normally really have an easy time with Creative Grandma's tutorials. The 12-point star, I'm struggling with a little bit. Her teaching on it, uh, it's a little hard to follow. So I want to learn it and hopefully come on and share it with you guys and do April speak on it. You know, explain it the way my brain works because that video is a little challenging. Now there is a written pattern for that as well, but that is kind of what I have on deck for this coming week. Again, if you can kind of um, if I get it all together. Okay, so let me catch up here. Personally, I only like red grapes. I like red and green grapes. My chickens love grapes. Kristen has to work. Oh, Kristen, I am sorry. Anvil said blue, blue, blue. Uh, I'm going to do the crab stitch, Leah, but I will also show the Maggie helicopter stitch on Tuesday. Okay. Sherry said I had to Google how to spell hyacinth. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But yes, I will show the Maggie helicopter on Tuesday. So I'm going to show both ways of doing that. So I think it's going to be a fun week next week. Kind of more relaxed. Yes, Hannah, that creator that you mentioned, that is who I will not be making their work. I'm sorry. I can DM you. I can DM you on that. But yeah, no, I'm sorry. Some of my friends here know this story. Cotton candy grapes. I have heard of those. Um, Vicky said, I agree. Her take is confusing with that pattern. Normally, Creative Grandma is super easy to follow. Yeah, I have watched that video like 3 times now, Vicky. Um, I'm normally like I'm pretty smart. Like I'm not like genius by any means, but I can follow along and be like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense, and kind of put it together, right? And things start to click. Um Normally I can watch it at work while I'm working and have it running and I can learn how to do stitches and stuff. With that video, I am really challenged with it. Uh Yes, Chantel, this yarn is a brand new skein. I'm working on a second one of these off to my left, but I'm using the same yarn. So I have another one here that I'm showing you. I worked from the center. So here's the skein that I'm working with. Now this skein came without any label, and this is how it came to me from Michaels. You can imagine the day that I received this, I was not super happy. But anyhow, I have this sitting off to my side. I am working from the center of the skein. I started this morning, pulling out my yarn, and that is how I'm working it. Now I have this extra one here just to kind of show you guys, but this is normally how they come from Michaels. That last shipment that I got is it's pretty sketch. I'll just say that. But I'm working with a Caron skinny cake today. This is the uh, color grape. Really, really pretty. But to me, it doesn't look like grapes. Queen says, I don't know if I want to make a star blanket. Nikki said, I love your voice. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. Michael's is grounded. Michael's is grounded, Leah. Queen, I don't know that I would have a lot of use for a star blanket, but let me tell you my thinking here. Um, I have that new Tonal Hues yarn from Crystal. The Tonal Hues yarn, if you guys are not familiar with it, it is a gradient yarn. I've used a lot of different gradient yarns. You guys know I really love Premier's gradient. I have not tried the Lion brand gradient because I like the Premier so much, to be honest. And the colors are so incredibly close. I don't think I would gain anything by going with the Lion brand. But I do love me some Lion brand yarn. You guys know I use it a lot, and you guys have seen it on my lives very frequently. So I definitely love that brand. Nothing against Lion brand. The difference with Crystal's yarn, when you look, I don't have a skein of that Premier, but basically when you look at the skein of Premier yarn, and you guys remember the wave blanket that we worked on a few weeks ago, it starts from the center very light, and by the end out here, it is very dark. So it goes from dark to light, and it takes the entire skein. And I'll talk about this more on Thursday. The difference with Crystal's yarn that she created is the gradient change is faster. So you start with the light, and then by this point, you're to the dark. Then it goes back out to light, and then it shifts back to the dark. So within one skein of yarn, you see those colors change quicker. So, Queen, to your, I don't know if I want to make a star, I'm going to do it in the green color that I have. It's a really pretty green in that tonal hues. And what my thought was on the star, because I'm working from the center out, I think we'll see those gradients change and look really, really cool. And it is an anti-pilling yarn. And I have to look, but I suspect it's machine washable and dryable. My thought was that green would actually make a really pretty baby blanket. So I don't have to make it super big. It is basically a square blanket. I don't see a lot of use for square blankets typically as I'm working on things, unless it's a baby blanket, unless it's a king size for a bed. You guys know I don't like making king size, queen size. They take too long. I get bored. I'm just like, rah, you know? So, for those reasons, that is why I want to do the star. I don't think I would use it all the time and do it all the time, but it is one of those things also that I just want to give it a try and be able to say, yeah, I've made a star blanket and have an opinion about it. I can't speak to if somebody says, have you made a star blanket? I can't say, oh, yeah, I've made one. I really like it. Or, oh, yeah, I've made it. I'll never make it again. I can't speak to any of that because I've not done it. So here we are. I finished the row, guys, as we've been yakking away. I did my half double, chain two, and then I joined with a slip stitch here to the very first stitch. Now, again, look at the ruffle we're getting on this. Do not be afraid of that ruffle, okay? Because bear in mind, we're going to be folding it and making it into a cardigan that will look like this. So again, I've said this before. This is the armpit. Here is the top. This is where my shoulder would be. My arm would be sticking out the side here. Okay. So that is how this gets folded and worked into the cardigan. The yarn, Crystal's yarn, there's lots of videos. It is called Tonal Hues, Tonal, Tonal, Tonal Hues. And you can get it from Mary Maxim. She partnered with Mary Maxim and they created it for Crystal. Crystal on YouTube, her channel is Bag O Day, Bagoday. Crystal has been on YouTube for over a decade and she has been making crochet instructional videos and tutorials. She has lots of yarn reviews. And so it's very, very, a very good channel for those that are not following Crystal. This yarn that she's doing, she partnered with Mary Maxim, and they worked on it together. It is an acrylic yarn. I do not know if it's machine washable and dryable. My yarn came last week, and I finally got it out of the box today or yesterday afternoon. So anyhow, I want to make the star blanket with it. Number one, I want to try out Crystal's yarn, and I just want to kind of experience making a star so that I can say that I've done it. So anyhow, that's the skinny on what is happening next week. Now, the yarn that I'm using today came from Michael's. The yarn I'm using is called Caron Skinny Cakes, and it is in the colorway Grape. Okay, so I'm not sure which yarn you were asking about, but that is the scoop. So, friends, if you are on the FYP this morning, I'm going to be hopping off at 9:30 Central Time. I have to go to work, but feel free to hop on in, say hello to our friends here. We have a fabulous group of folks. I have seen a lot of new followers popping on this morning, and I just wanted to say welcome to all of our new friends. My name is April. I try to give you a shout out as you're popping on, but today we're doing a lot of stitch talk. So I haven't had a chance to say hello. But again, my name is April, and I hope you're having a fabulous day. It's Friday Eve. What's not to love, you guys? So we just finished round number 7, which was our back post double crochets. We're now going to be moving to round number 8. Round number 8's a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some crisscrossed double crochets, crisscross applesauce. All right, so to begin, we're going to chain 3. You can see here when you have these 3 stacked little ovals, you come here, find the oval, that tells you it's a chain. There's 3 of them, so it's a chain of 3. That's going to be our corner. Now, you can see here, this stitch right here does not have any stitch into it. You can see there's a chain here above. This stitch right here is worked into the very first stitch. This stitch, if we look on our legend, it has the little hatch mark. It is a double crochet. So what this diagram is telling me is I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to skip this stitch. Then I'm going to make a double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 1. Then I'm going to make a double crochet, and I'm going to put it back here into the chain space. So I'm going to cross over. Now this sounds all very, very complicated. I'm going to show you it's really not, okay? Then when I get done with this, you can see here, I'm going to move to this one over here. So if I look from this stitch right here, I can see 1, 2. So I'm going to skip 2. Into the third, I'm going to do the double crochet. Chain 1. Then I'm going to work backwards, skipping a stitch into this one here. And I'm going to repeat that all the way across. I should end up with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crisscross stitches. And again, here we are back to the corner with a double crochet, chain 2, and then it would be a double crochet. So that is what we are going to do. Again, I know that diagram looks a little complicated, so let me give you the visual of this so you can kind of see how this is going to come together. So this is my corner chain space. I'm going to start with a chain of 3. That counts as a double crochet. I'm going to skip 1. The very first stitch is right here. I'm going to skip that. Into this second stitch here, I'm going to do a double crochet. Okay. Now I'm going to chain 1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a double crochet back into this chain space, but in front of this chain of 3. So the way I do this is I wrap my yarn around. Again, I use my little thumb holder here. Put my work forward, and I'm going into that chain space, okay? And I put it through, grab up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So what that does is it makes those 2 double crochets crisscross. This is where the first stitch was that for that little grouping. I'm going to skip 2. Into the next stitch, I'm going to do a double crochet. Friends, I'm going to miss some comments here right now. I have to look at this kind of as I'm doing it, okay? So double crochet after you skip 2. Chain 1. This chain 1 is in place of this right here, this stitch. Now I'm going to come back into this very first stitch that we skipped. And again, I'm going to do the double crochet. Wrap my yarn around. Again, I hold this just to kind of give me some control. I'm holding this stitch with my thumb and my pointer finger, okay? So when I get ready to do this, I isolate this stitch. This is going to help me find it as I put the work forward. Yarn over, put my work forward, slide my hook under those 2 loops, grab up my loop. Now we have 3. yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so again, there is another crisscross. This will kind of flatten out as we move further along. This is where my stitch ended. Skip 2 into the third, again double crochet, chain 1. Now I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to be working into this stitch right here. So I get my fingers kind of pinching that so I know where I'm going. Yarn over, put my work forward, slide my hook under those 2 bars, grab up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay. Again, this is where the first stitch was. Skip 2 into the third, double crochet, chain 1, skip this one. I'm working backwards. I'm going to be going into the second stitch here. Okay, so I hold this, yarn over, put my work forward, slide my hook under those 2 loops, grab up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, again, here's the very first one that we did. Skip 1 and 2 into the third, double crochet. Hey, Vima, how are you? Chain 1. Now again, skip this and find the very first stitch here. And I kind of hold that so I know where I'm going. Yarn over and slide my hook under those 2 loops. Grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so you can kind of see how our little crisscrosses are looking here. Uh, Chantel said, I have another question. What is gauge? I'm still trying to figure that out. So the gauge, when you look at yarn, is, hey Kim, how are you? On the back of your yarn, it tells you the weight of the yarn. This is a 3-weight yarn. So this is like a DK weight yarn. Regular acrylic, like your Red Heart Super Saver, is a 4-weight yarn, and that is constructed of 4 strands. Okay, the gauge is partly showed here with what size hook you use in relationship to the weight of the yarn. So that is your gauge. And so a lot of people will have you make squares or little samples before you start a project so you can figure out how it's going to work out. Like essentially, how big are these stitches going to be if you use this size hook? So this yarn calls for a G6 hook. I'm using a size I9 hook. So my stitches are going to be bigger with this yarn. But also the strands of the yarn, this is the ply of the yarn. If we separate this, you can see the 3-weight yarn is constructed of 3 strands of yarns. Okay, so that is what basically makes up this yarn. If I can get this to stay open, it likes to twist back. But they take 3 strands, 3 ply, and they twist those together and turn that into a 3-weight yarn. So if we look at a 4-weight yarn, Chantel, I never do gauges, ever. Uh, Shirley said, "What a great teacher." Thank you so much, Shirley. I appreciate that. I'm not a I'm a hobby crocheter. I just try to come on and share the things that I know. I've been crocheting for 40 years, but I would not consider myself an expert by any means. I learn new stitches and everything every day. So I just come on and crochet with my friends and kind of share. This is a 4-weight yarn. This is a 4-ply yarn. So again, a gauge would be you take this yarn with this hook, you crochet stitches, and it will then tell you how big your work is going to be. Gauge is very, very important when you're making wearables, okay? If you want something to be a specific size, you need to pay attention to the gauge, because if you make a halter top and your gauge is too big versus what the pattern creator made or directed or how they constructed it, right? Then it's not going to fit the way that you think it's going to fit. If you aren't making a wearable, it does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're making a baby blanket. It does not matter. If you're not making a wearable, it does not matter. On this hexagon cardigan that I'm making today, it doesn't matter because I'm going to hold it up to myself and make sure that I get it to the right size that I want, and basically make it custom to me. But if you are making a um, something very specific for a wearable, that is where it is used a lot. So if you are new to crochet, I wouldn't get too hung up on the gauge. For me personally, it hasn't been a big factor in my crocheting. Now, I'm sure there are those crocheters out there that will tell you you should be making a gauge swatch every time you start a new yarn before you start a new project. Okay, again, that is entirely up to you. And you have to make the call. But for me, I'm sorry, I'm not going to make a gauge swatch. Okay, so that's how I uh, the project I make is the gauge. There you go, Hannah. Hannah's rebelling it up over there, just like April. So it definitely is a personal preference if you want to do that. Okay, so I'm doing my very last crisscross here, guys. Let me rewind this. Rewind. Let's talk about this. So, as we're finishing to the end, we have to skip two and then into the third, make our double crochet. Well, you can see here the third is in the corner, and that is how this stitch is supposed to be. So, I double crochet into the corner, then I chain one, skip this one. I'm working backwards. I'm going to do the double crochet here into this one, yarn over, put my work forward, and double crochet. So there's our very last crisscross. Now into the corner, we still need our double crochet, chain two, double crochet. Did that help with answering your question about gauge and my take on gauge? I hope it did. I'm trying to think here when I did this. Yeah, when I finished the crisscrosses here is when I started changing the purple. So I want to pay attention to this. This is the example that I have here. So as I'm making this second half, I'm trying to be mindful of this new one that I'm making to match kind of the colors that we are doing here. Again, it doesn't have to be exact, but I'd like it to be kind of similar. You know what I mean? So we finished one side of our crisscrosses. So let's do another row of crisscrosses. Again, we're going to skip two. Now remember, when you are doing the corner, the second double crochet is going to go here in the corner. So I'm going to go into stitch number 3, double crochet, chain 1, skip this one. Now I'm going to work that double crochet into the chain space here. Yarn over, put my work forward, slide my hook underneath that chain space, draw up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so this is where I ended that stitch. Skip 2, 1, 2, into the third, double crochet, chain 1. I chain 1 because I'm skipping this stitch here. Then I'm going to work this one backwards, okay? So I put my fingers here, hold that stitch so I know where I'm going. It's the little directional pointer. Yarn over, I hold my thumb here to keep this secure, put my work forward, look for my finger, slide my hook under those 2 loops, grab up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Uh, Shirley girl, oh, that is so cute. My mom, yeah. That is really, really a cool little handle. That's what my grandpa used to call my mom. I don't know, did she say that already? I don't know if she wants that out there. Sorry, mom. Uh, but said, I struggle with the crisscross for days. You make it look so easy. My brain thinks about things maybe different than other people's. I just try to explain in words what my brain is thinking, and it seems to resonate with people. Michelle, this is the study of snow pattern. This pattern was not designed as a cardigan. Okay, guys, what I've done is I've taken This is designed by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. You guys know I love, 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 love Mikey. I have learned so much from him. Find him on YouTube, follow him. He has over 1 million followers. He's an incredible crochet teacher. But this is his pattern, The Study of Snow. He made this with Bernat blanket yarn, which is a 6 super bulky yarn, and it is worked in a square. And what was rattling around in my brain at night as I was trying to sleep, these little squirrels kept running by, telling April, you need to take The Study of Snow. It is a full written pattern. There's written instructions as well. The thing that I read is diagrams. So today we're doing a lot of diagram talk as I explain these stitches, which is new to some people. Some people hate diagrams. I have friends here that were very anti-diagram before I started talking about these, and they will tell you now they can read these diagrams from watching me and learning how I read these. Okay, so anyhow, this is just my interpretation of his pattern. But instead of crocheting it into a square, I've added 2 more sides, and I am making a hexagon cardigan with this pattern. Has lots of fun textures. So you can see here, if you're just joining, let me show you. It's hard to fit all on the screen, you guys. It's a cardigan. Okay, so I took my square or hexagon, and I folded it in half like you do for a cardigan. Now this is my shoulder up here at the top where I joined it together. I did a crochet join on this. I did not sew it. And this is the sleeve. Okay, so the end of my square ended here, and I carried on the pattern, and I just repeated the rows down, and then I made my cuff. I did the decrease just like Passionate Kelsey does on her cardigan tutorial, and I made the cuff like she does. Okay, I'm not very good at cuffs. This is only my second time making a cardigan, but I'm trying very hard, and I think I'm getting a little better. So that is what I am working on today. Okay, and I am using the Caron Skinny Cake in the colorway Grape. Now this yarn calls for a size G6 hook. I have gone larger with this because I want this to be very nice and flowy. Okay, so not really tight, just kind of very loose and have some give to it. So that is why I went larger with my hook size. So I am basically working on these rows. We started this morning right here in the very center, and I'm working my way up. I'm now on row number 8. Okay. Mikey has a full YouTube tutorial. This is linked on my link tree, along with the written pattern is on my link tree as well, guys. So even if you didn't get to see me make the whole thing today, obviously I'm not going to get through the whole thing today, right? We're right here. We've got a long ways to go. And I won't be working on this a ton on the live. I'll be working on it a lot offline in the nights and evenings and weekends and whatnot. So if you want to make the Study of Snow, I highly encourage you to check out Mikey's video and pattern and his diagram. Try reading a diagram a little bit. You know, just give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. You might surprise yourself. So anyhow, for the sleeves concept with the cuffs, I watch Passionate Kelsey, who's another creator I watch over on YouTube. Guys that follow, friends, if you follow Passionate Kelsey, have you been watching her latest vlogs, by the way? Sorry, this is a total squirrel moment. Passionate Kelsey bought a house, and so she is moving out of her apartment into her house, and her vlogs right now I'm finding incredibly fun to watch. She's just great. She just chats like we're sitting there as buddies on the couch, like shooting the you know what, and just having just an iced tea or a drink, and she just tells it real. So anyhow, she is moving into this apartment, from her apartment into her very first house, and she's setting up uh, her furniture. She counted every single one of her yarns, and she sat there and count. I love a good time lapse. She's counting her yarns. I'm not going to tell you how much yarn she has. You have to go watch her video. It's great. I really love, I put her on at work. I let her run in the background. And yeah, she does this camera thing where she stares at the camera. Yes, Kristen, I follow her boyfriend too. I can't remember his name, but he's always part of her video. And she's got her little dog, Neji, that comes in. She's just so fun. She's so much fun. So yesterday I watched her. She put together her shelves. Okay. The next vlog she's going to take her entire piles and piles of yarn and start organizing them on her shelves. And I cannot wait to watch Passionate Kelsey's video. I'm so excited. Caesar. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, his name is Caesar. And they do cooking videos together. He goes to restaurants. They're both just really fun personalities. I love them both. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Anyhow, my point to all this is Passionate Kelsey has a great tutorial of how to do a cardigan. Okay, that was the whole point of this. One, two, three, four, five. I got to get two more in here. I feel like my counts might be off here. So if I do one there, then it would be there. Yeah, I'm off here. So when you get off on your counts, I'm not going to lose a whole lot of sleep on this, but I try to look and see if I maybe skipped over too many stitches. A lot of times what will happen when I'm working on this pattern is sometimes what'll happen is I'll accidentally work into this stitch right here, and then I'll end up with too many spaces as I work out. Right now, I'm going to end up and be too many. I'm going to be one short. Okay. So the way I'm going to compensate for this, guys, I'm not going to lose my mind over this. All I'm going to do is change how I do it. So normally I would skip these two and go into this third space here. But you can see that is not going to be enough if I do that over here towards the edge. So I could either shorten it up here or shorten it up here. So I'm going to count this stitch right here, 1, 2, and I'm going to put my crisscross here. So yarn over here into this stitch. It's just gonna sit a little closer. Nobody's gonna be the wiser, okay? Nobody's gonna be the wiser. Queen, don't get frustrated. When I do the study of snow, I never count anything. The only thing I count, let me rephrase. I do count. I use the puff stitch row to get back on count. I make sure my puff stitches always match. In this case, it's 4 on each side. You saw me, I just counted. I had 7 crisscrosses. I make sure I have 7 crisscrosses. So I use those 2 rows as my like rule to follow. Okay. So right here, I was off. Again, not going to get totally stressed out by this. All I'm going to do is move it back one and work into this stitch here, which technically is not right. I'm going to rebel it up and carry on. Now I'm going to skip 2 into the third, double crochet, chain 1, skip this one into this stitch here, again, double crochet. There isn't anybody going to know that I just fudged that one little stitch. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. Nobody will be the wiser. So that is why I don't get really hung up on that. Technically, yes, you can tell right here. It's not as much space between this one and this one. Okay, I know this. You know this. Leah knows, and she's telling the nation. But the average person who looks at this is never going to even pick up on the fact that I just fudged that. Carrie is calling the crochet police. Carrie, you call them, girl. Tell them April is breaking all the rules again. Nobody's going to roll up here. Danny Lee, have a great day. Nobody's going to roll up here in my living room and tell me, put the cuffs on me. So again, this is supposed to be relaxing. Now, years ago, guys, I would have gotten myself all hung up on this. Lindsay has a great point. Also, that is in your armpit. It is in my armpit. Nobody's going to know. So, anyhow, yeah, rebel it up, friends. I encourage you. Be free. Be free with this. So obviously you want your work to be nice, right? If I'm making a mistake that's going to affect how my entire project looks, friends, you know me, I'm going to frog it out. I am a perfectionist. I want my stuff to look nice, you know? But when it's something like that, Dude, I just move on. Just move forward. And keep it going. Don't get stressed out by that. Friends that are hopping off, have a great weekend. Have a great if you're here in the U.S. Have a great holiday. I will be back on Tuesday. It has been a fabulous week here. I don't know how I'm doing on time, but I have enjoyed seriously visiting with all of you guys. We just hit 50,000 likes on the live. Thank you so much, everybody who is tapping your screen. Friends over on YouTube, thank you so much for giving it a thumbs up. I'm really looking forward to a long weekend. I want to get some projects. I have a lot of ends to weave in. I'm hoping to maybe work on that. I do have a full schedule already planned for next week. I will be back on Tuesday, and on Tuesday, I'm going to be working on an edging of a blanket. And so we're going to be doing the crab stitch on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I'm starting a brand new blanket from scratch. It will be wheelchair size, and I am doing the modern granny. Okay, so if you've been wanting to learn how to make the modern granny, Tuesday or Wednesday on the live, we're going to be doing a whole new wheelchair size blanket. Thank you guys all so much for all of the likes, the gifts. Special shout out to all of the subscribers, to all of our new friends that we've made this week. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching and chatting it up with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm not looking forward to going to work today. I'll be honest. I'd rather sit here and crochet all day with you friends, but I do have to get off and work on in my office, doing my 9 to 5. So I hope you guys all have a fabulous Memorial Day, fabulous long weekend if you don't have to work. And I look forward to seeing you guys all next week. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Have a great week, great weekend. I will see you next week. Bye. Bye for now. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I can't see it. Okay, now I'm signing off. Bye.